All right, today, courtesy of our sponsor, MyBookie.com, I'm going to give you Chris Cuomo's top 5 Chris Cuomoist moments. And these are important because Chris Cuomo is almost a perfect mixture of po-faced stupidity with more po-faced stupidity. He is the model CNN anchor because he knows how to stare into the camera with a very serious face and to say things in a very serious manner so that you know he's being very serious until you listen to him and think this guy has absolutely no clue what he's talking about. Chief among these moments, the one moment that I think kind of sums him up as a news anchor was when he was talking about the various mostly peaceful riots, or as CNN has called them, fiery but peaceful.
And please, show me where it says that protests are supposed to be polite.
So I like the seriousness and the kind of aggressive, please show me where. So he was immediately answered. I immediately answered him on Twitter, but the best answer obviously came from Internet Guy. This is on TikTok. I think he's eating like a Hot Pocket or something like this, who played this clip and responded.
And please, show me where it says that protests are supposed to be polite and peaceful. And please.
There's the First Amendment. You just gotta look it up, Mr. Cuomo.
Cuomo just delivers that line, with this kind of all-knowing, this knowledgeable face that he puts on that is supposed to convey that this is an authority. He's wearing a tie. He's speaking into a camera. He's got a microphone, so he must know something, except he doesn't. He's Chris Cuomo. Rush Limbaugh, I think, is the first guy to call Chris Cuomo Fredo, which is kind of perfect. Fredo, you'll remember in The Godfather, he's the stupid brother of Michael Corleone. They're both obviously the sons of Don Corleone, the Marlon Brando Godfather figure. And this is perfect because Mario Cuomo was, of course, a very powerful governor of New York who always put on this very grave, very intellectual aspect, but really was kind of not a very good governor. He was kind of an indecisive guy who never did anything but could always talk as if he were really, really intelligent. Now, it's very, very accurate because his son, Andrew Cuomo, who genuinely is the Prince of Darkness. I mean, he really is a guy who deceives people, who there's a lot of aura and rumor of corruption about him. And then you've got Chris, who is the brother who, kind of not quite living up to the intellectual level of his evil brother or his powerful, dignified, but actually kind of incompetent father. So he actually is Fredo. But he doesn't like it.
I thought that's who you were.
No, punk-ass bitches from the right call me Fredo. My name is Chris Cuomo. I'm an anchor on CNN.
Oh, you're much...
Fredo is from The Godfather. He was that weak brother.
Isn't that your
and
brother?
And they use it as an Italian aspersion. Any of you Italian?
I'm a little bit.
Italian?
I got a little...
It's an insult to your people. It's an insult to your people. It's like the N-word for us. Don't fucking insult me like that.
I didn't insult you.
You call me Fredo. It's like I call you punk. You like that? You want that to be your nickname?
I didn't call you that.
You called me Fredo. You know my name's not fucking Fredo.
I thought your name was.
Watch your fucking hands. Take a swing. Watch your fucking hands. Take a swing. No, come on, boy. Come on, boy. So you want to call me? Call me.
Hey, listen, man. I'm not doing it.
Now, you got to remember, Chris Cuomo is a weightlifter. He's a very big guy. He goes after a person who's watching him on TV. He is a public figure. You really do not have the right, I'm sorry, you do not have the right to respond with force to words. You just don't. You don't have the right to respond with physical violence to words. But the problem he's got is that Fredo is so on point, right? It's not something he can quite laugh off because it's just so very real. It's betting season at MyBookie. MyBookie has everything you would expect from a sports book, but they also have political odds. You can bet on things like the winner of the presidential election and even the day the loser will concede the race. You can bet on all this and more at MyBookie. Nothing makes an event more exciting than putting some money on it. And with the NFL and election season in full swing, it's a great time to get in on the action. Sometimes you have a gut feeling about a matchup, and sometimes you're just betting on your team because they're your team. Regardless, whether you've been betting for years or you're ready to play for the first time, MyBookie is your go-to this season. With the biggest online selection of bets and props, they've made it simple to win and easy to withdraw your cash. Head over to MyBookie to create an account. Just use the promo code CLAVEN to claim your 100% deposit match all the way up to $1,000. That means if you put $100 in, they'll give you another 100. It's an easy way to jumpstart your bankroll. NFL, NBA, and MLB, and everything else, they've got it all on tap, and it's never too late to get started on your winning season only at MyBookie. The other thing about him, he came on and he announced that he had gotten the Chinese flu, or the Wu flu, or the yellow fever, whatever you want to call it. It's not, we don't want to be bigoted, but some, the flu Manchu, some people call it. But he came on and he announced that he actually had come down with the flu.
Be better than we're being right now. Care enough, not just to stay home, but to stay on our leaders, to make sure that they're doing everything they can to limit this. I'm telling you, this is the part of our lives we will live through and remember the most. How do you want to be remembered during this time?
No, I don't want to call him a pompous ass. I don't want to say that he's, virtue signaling. I don't want to say, well, wait, no, that was what I wanted to say. I forgot. That was actually what I wanted to say. He is doing that. And it turns out that he comes out later and he announces that this is my first time. All I cared about is that I didn't infect my family. That's all I wanted, was not to infect my family. And by the way, I and many other people in the media wished him well, because obviously, if you just disagree with somebody, or you think he's like a po-faced idiot, or you think he's a bully who goes up to people, and you don't want him to get sick. Nobody wants the guy to get sick. So everybody was wishing him well. And then he came out, finally emerged from the basement where he had been quarantined, and said, "This is it. I'm finally coming out. Here he is."
All right, here it is. The official re-entry from the basement. Cleared by CDC, a little sweaty, just worked out, happens. This is what I've been dreaming of, literally for weeks. My wife, she was cleared by the CDC. She doesn't have fever, she doesn't have the symptoms anymore, more than 7 days from her quarantine. But we're still a little scared, so I'll just give you one of these, just give you one of these, just give you one of these, just give you one of these. Bella has, of course, taken the video. This is the dream, just to be back up here doing normal things.
Turns out, however, after lecturing us, after making a big production of coming out for the first time to finally, this is the day I was dreaming of seeing his family, a biker witnessed him outdoors with a group of people talking about a home he was building without a mask, not social distancing, and went on TV and announced that this has happened. And once again, apparently, Cuomo came up to him and did the muscle man bullying routine.
They're pretty far away. I have very good eyes. And Chris Cuomo turns around. And I'm like, holy smokes, it's Chris Cuomo. Shouldn't you be quarantined? I think his next words were, what the hell do you know about this? What do you know about the rules? He continued to come closer and closer, and I like to say he was like a boiling pot. You could see his head he was getting more and more angry. I said, so you're going to lose your temper like you did on the guy at Shelter Island on me.
So I like the line. My favorite part of this is the line, what do you know about the rules? Well, he knows about the rules because he was probably watching Chris Cuomo tell him that these are the moments we were going to remember for our whole life long. And this is what, this is the thing that is going to define us, was the way that we stayed indoors to protect our families and one another and our community and the country and the world. Apparently not. But he did not like this, as he made very clear. He did not like being confronted by a poor, ordinary peon, a member of a guy who doesn't even talk on CNN. That's how low this guy was. And yet he had the temerity, the arrogance to confront none other than Chris Cuomo.
I don't want some jackass, loser, fat tire biker to be able to pull over and get in my face and in my space and talk to me. I don't want to hear it.
Jackass, loser, fat tire biker. Not, you'll notice, not a CNN anchor like Chris Cuomo. The one that really gets me, and we have to give Tucker Carlson credit here, because Tucker Carlson came up with these tapes. These are tapes of Cuomo talking to Michael Cohen and briefing him on how he should give an interview about Stormy Daniels. Michael Cohen, the felon lawyer who was a Donald Trump associate, another one of these faux New York tough guys who, the minute they get caught by the law, start to confess to everything. I don't know if it's Cohen who records everything. It seems that Cohen has never had a moment since his birth that was not secretly recorded. But he did record this conversation with Cuomo in which Cuomo coaches him how to do an interview about his dirty dealings with Stormy Daniels, and actually says to him on CNN, he's going to give the interview on CNN. So he tells his pal, Michael Cohen, this obviously corrupt lawyer, he tells him how he's supposed to handle these questions about his corruption.
I'm always careful when I talk to media, you know? Right. Do you know how many phone calls I've gotten from people at ABC who say that reporters are calling and lying about things they heard about me to try to get stories about me when I was at ABC? Guys calling and saying, I heard he was the Charlie Rose of ABC, he used to invite women to the hotel and open his bathroom. Do I look like the kind of guy who's got to do that?
Sure, why not? But you're
lying. So I already have a good source that says that he forced one woman to have sex. I just want to know if you've ever heard anything like that. There is no woman. Right. There is none of that.
So here's the problem.
Women who do work there saying, oh yeah, you know, some of these men, and naming me with other guys, you know, we bumped into each other once in the elevator and he put his hand on my shoulder and he made me really uncomfortable. I mean, what the
It's a problem, and now you.
So I'm careful with the media always. Right. I've always told you the media is not your friend.
It's a wonderful exchange where Cuomo says they accuse me of sexually harassing women, opening my pants, exposing myself, whatever. Do I look like the kind of guy who has to do that? Not who would do that. Not do I look like the kind of guy who would do that, but do I look like the guy who has to do that? No, the women fall over for me. And I love Cohen's responses. Hey, why not? Why wouldn't you be that guy? Finally, let's do just one more. This moment when after he came out with the flu, he admitted the way he really feels about what he does for a living.
I don't want to spend my time doing things that I don't think are valuable enough to me personally. Like what? Well, I don't like what I do professionally, I've decided. I like doing this show. I like talking to you guys. But I don't value indulging irrationality, hyperpartisanship. I don't think it's worth my time.
So Chris Cuomo is actually too good to be Chris Cuomo. Chris Cuomo doesn't want to sink to the level of Chris Cuomo. Chris Cuomo is above being Chris Cuomo. I think we can all agree Chris Cuomo is above the level of Chris Cuomo, because once you've sunk to the level of Chris Cuomo, you're Chris Cuomo, and then, it's over for you, basically. That's your reputation forever. And Chris Cuomo doesn't want to do that. But later on, he did take it back.
I have never been in a better position professionally than I am in right now. What was I talking about yesterday? Well, if you listen to the show, you understood the context. Nobody called in yesterday and said, are you going to leave CNN? Why? Because it was clear that that's not what I was talking about. I was talking about having legitimate questions, which I've had all along this administration, let alone with a fever, with COVID for 2 weeks and being pissed off about being sick and rethinking a lot of things on an existential basis all the time. It is frustrating to do this job in an environment where people are not interested and open. It is hard to practice journalism when people are so intent on believing what they want to believe for political advantage. It makes you question, is it worth the effort? Can I make a difference? Can I personally make a difference?
So those are the 5 Chris Cuomoist moments of Chris Cuomo. I don't want to say the guy is Fredo. I don't want to say the guy's a bully. I don't want to say the guy misrepresents his character on the air. So I won't say those things. I'll just kind of move my eyebrows and send you coded messages and then stop talking altogether.